Hi, my name is Sidharth. I am a third year MBBS student at AIIMS Deoghar and welcome back to the channel. You have enrolled into your college and now you're wondering which books to buy, which books I should study, should I buy a coaching app? Well, this video is just for you, it's to clear all those doubts. I thought that it will be helpful for all the first year MBBS students who have just come in. Because when you have just enrolled into a medical college, you don't know any of your seniors, so your seniors can't really help you choosing books for the first year. So I thought that I'll just help you. All the recommendations that I make in these videos are just my preference, my opinions, based on what I have read, based on what I've heard from my friends. Now that the disclaimer is done, I'll get into the video. The first question that I would like to address is, do you have to buy Maro or Prepla to ace in your first year of MBBS? And the clear answer, the big answer is no. Do not buy any of the coaching apps until you reach your third year at least. Because first and second year mein is just a waste of money, and there is no point in buying apps which are orienting you to solve MCQs. Your anat, physio, biochem and all the other subjects in your first and second years should be, you should know everything about it. Try to remember. Obviously you'll forget a lot of it, but you never know where you'll use the knowledge that you have gained from anatomy, physio, biochemistry. It could help you in many places. So always try to read textbooks. Try to read standard textbooks. If it's not possible for everyone. So then go for the next best thing, Indian author books. There are a lot of beautiful books written by Indian authors. Go for those. I honestly really don't see the need for any coaching app or anything coaching based in your first year or your second year. Third year say you can. Then there are a lot of people who crack their PG entrances during their internship or after their internship, studying 8 to 6 months. That's also possible. You don't have to study for 2 years. My point being that it's a big no for me if anyone has the doubt कि मैं Maro का plan ले लूँ या should I buy Prep Ladder or any coaching app in general during your first and second years. Now that that's aside, I'd like to talk about the books to read. So always try to read your standard textbooks, and if it's not your cup of tea, change the books, try other books. I'll just give you a few recommendations, and the books that I felt were easy for me, were beautifully written, had good diagrams that were reproducible during exams and all that. So those will help you in your exams as well as understanding topics. First year mein you'll have to study 3 subjects. You'll have anatomy, physiology and biochemistry. So इनमें से anatomy is the only hard subject per se. It's the only subject that requires a lot of remembering, very less conceptual. It's more of ratta maro and not understanding. Yes, you can try to imagine things, but then there is a certain distance that imagination can take you. So first of all, I would like to just tell you all कि anatomy hard होगा. It will be one of your hardest subjects during your MBBS पूरा. So don't take too much stress about anatomy. हो जाएगा. The first few months will be hard. It'll be hard to orient yourself to the subject क्योंकि physio और biochemistry का orientation you've already gotten from during your NEET prep days. You've already seen glimpses of physio or seen glimpses of biochemistry, whether it be in the chapter of circulation, respiration, or Krebs cycle, glycolysis cycle. Whatever you study in your MBBS, from day one you'll be using it, or consciously or unconsciously, throughout your career. It's not like in school, people say कि इतना maths पढ़ के क्या हुआ, I'm not using those formulas, but that's not the case. Once you are starting with your preclinical, paraclinical subjects, you will be using those subjects, the knowledge that you gain from those subjects, maybe not directly, but surely indirectly you'll be using it. So keep that in mind. Do not think of these subjects as just subjects that you have to pass. First, we'll talk about anatomy. So anatomy itself is divided into 3 or 4. First of all, you have your gross anatomy. That's about everything about the body: muscles, nerves, blood vessels, how they pass through your body, where what goes through, what is lying superior to what is inferior to what. So just imagine how hard it will be to learn everything about the human body in a span of an year. So gross anatomy के लिए I follows either one of 2 books. One is BDC, BD Chaurasya, and the next one is Vishram Singh. So the pros of Vishram Singh is there are good diagrams that you can easily draw during your exams, and the book is well written. And but then I liked BDC more. I did not really read Vishram Singh. I have read just a few chapters. This is upper limb and thorax. ऐसे 4 books आते हैं BDC का. So yeah, and yeah, BDC versus Vishram Singh is up to you. Vishram Singh has easier diagrams, simplified diagrams, and BDC does not. But then BDC is, in my opinion, it's much better written. It's easier to understand. But one thing that I will surely recommend is this. So Vishram Singh का अलग से एक book आता है न्यूरो एनाटॉमी का. This one, and this is all you need for neuroanatomy, man. The pictures are so beautiful, the writing is so beautiful. This is the only thing that I read for neuro. I did not read BDC for neuro. And neuro में अच्छे marks आए थे, honestly. I was good at neuro. Hey guys, thank you for all the support that you show on these videos. Do feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. And yeah, thank you for all the appreciation that you give me. You guys are the best. So gross anatomy के लिए ये दोनों books हो गया. Next we'll talk about embryology. And for embryology, this is the book that is standard Langmans, but then it's hard to read. मैंने तो नहीं पढ़ा. Starting का 2-3 chapters ही पढ़ा. Most medical colleges, they do recommend you to read Langmans. But then there's this one book that I got from my father's collection. I called it the magazine. ये है book, ठीक है, Before We Are Born. And इसमें पूरा like everything about embryology is given, and it's very pictorial. There's very less writing and more pictures. And for embryology, that should be your approach. You know, it's hard to imagine embryology. So if a book has more pictures and less writing, it's easy to understand. Try to get this book. I do not know if you can get this book and how much this costs. This was just there in my father's collection. मैं magazine बोल के पढ़ता था क्योंकि magazine जैसे ही है. And another book that comes for human embryology is IB Singh, Indrabir Singh's Human Embryology. I must be honest, I have not read this book at all. ये बस मेरे यहाँ पे पढ़ा था. The last segment of anatomy would be histology. And for histology, I would go for Indrabir Singh's histology. I do not remember what the standard book was called, but it was called Difflors. Difflors, for me, it was really hard to study. वैसे भी histology, I didn't like histology that much. It was just all the same for me. Until my pre-prof exam. Pre-prof के लिए मैं बैठ के पढ़ा था with my friend. It's just hard at the starting because everything looks the same. Once you get the pictures of the slides and once you study it, keeping it alongside with your textbook, you know, understand, identify and study. After that, histology में ज़्यादा दिक्कत नहीं होगा. But then it's just the starting trouble with histo. So I would recommend Indrabir Singh. The other standard book, as I said, is Difflors. Yeah, that's anatomy. Gross anatomy, embryo, and histo.